On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
I think so. I look at this too. I look at this two different ways because, to be honest, I'll say, for me personally, it's just hard enough entertaining one, let alone trying to entertain two. But I think to me with the older generation, or people that are a certain age, and then we in this like monogamous Western culture. I don't think most women go for the idea of being a number two, right? But when you look at this younger generation, and again, we talk about side chick anthems and this, this quote unquote thought culture or whatever. I think a lot more people that are like under the age of 30 definitely entertain and are open to the possibility of being a number two. I think to Amira's point, as long as they're taken care of, don't bring me no diseases, don't go, don't get nobody else pregnant or whatever. I think they're absolutely open to the possibility of being number two.
All right, the lead attorney. Men desires change. Should a wife be open to the possibility of being one or two? What are your thoughts? And then also add some context as if you've seen this in the courts or just personally.
Yeah, I absolutely think that she should. In a marriage, I mean, if we're going to take this seriously, you really should be open to the possibility of almost anything. That doesn't mean just because you're open to something doesn't mean you're going to accept it, but at least you're open to thinking about it, open to giving it serious consideration, especially if this is a need, right? One thing is a want from your husband, and another thing is a need. And if your husband needs something, a woman should really consider that. Now, consideration is one thing and acceptance, is another, right? But being open to it, absolutely. And here in Atlanta, I have just seen so many couples really that function in ways that other people would think are dysfunctional. In Atlanta, swinging down here is huge. Wives and husbands swapping around. Everybody paying for these, bulls. You see this more in the white community, to be honest.
I'm sorry, a bull?
Yeah, a bull is like a tall black dude who's hung, and he's hired to come in to service the wife. Now this can be
so the husband is a cuck.
Yeah. And it could be where, the wife is at home and then the bull is taking pictures while they're doing it and then sending it to the wife. Or a lot of times it could be where the husband is in the room with the bull and is kind of filming it and kind of doing his thing in the corner. And it can go a little bit further. I don't want to get too graphic, but and these are these are successful marriages. These are marriages that are going to absolutely last 40 years. Look at Anton. Anton's like successful. But, there are not a lot of marriages that last a long time. But people, I think it was Lauren who said, kind of keep it spicy. And these white people know how to keep a marriage spicy, let me tell you.
That's a little bit more than spicy now.
It's hot. Okay.
How would you describe it, Courtney?
A little stank, nasty, freaky. That's a little bit more than spicy. That ain't no Larry spice. That's some
Courtney. That is right up my alley.
Go ahead, Kay. Look, she blushing.
Her alley.
She blushing in the mug. Go ahead, Kay. Look, she ain't got nothing to say all of a sudden.
No, I do. I was finding my mouse, like the cursor to get to the mute. But yeah, I actually agree with what the lead attorney was saying. Openness or consideration doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to like say, okay, this is what's going to happen. But if you're thinking about a marriage lasting 60 years, like you, for me, I can't say like this is what's going to be happening 50 years from now, other than us being together. Like there's a lot of things that could possibly happen. So when the question, should a wife, I'm reading it as it goes, should a wife be open to the possibility of being one of two? I'm not going to say what other people should do, but I definitely
Would
feel
you?
what he was saying.
Would you be one or two? I know you can't speak on it, but is it a possibility?
I don't like the way that you just said that all creepy. But okay, would I at this point? No, but I'm not saying that. Let me answer. Like sometimes answers are not just like yes, move on to the next person, or no, whatever. So at this point in my life, that's not something that I would want to happen. But I'm not saying that that is something that I would never be okay with it happening. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak on the future. And I think that what the lead attorney was saying was correct. I think it's, you know, just because you're open to something doesn't mean that's what you're going to do. And it doesn't mean that that's what you're not going to do. You just have, there's consideration involved.
Right. But just because you're open to it also means that the possibility you can. It's just not on that no factor. Chicago Rilla.
Right. You didn't, that wasn't a mic drop. I mean, that's what
I didn't say it was a mic drop. I just moved on. So okay.
Hey, JR.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that white. We're gonna get that white out.
Anton, I am so tired of you
on that contract. We're gonna get that.
You're gonna redact my name. It's gonna be.
We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that white out. We're gonna redo that contract. Don't even worry about it. We got this.
Chicago Rilla, man desires change. Should a wife be open to the possibility of being one or two?
Hey man, shout out to the lead attorney. Sound like he been peeking around trapeze a couple of times.
Well, he knows about it. This man knows about it. I thought I saw you up in there. I knew.
Sound like you've been on Northside Drive a couple times.
I knew you looked familiar. I saw you over in the corner in that robe. I knew it was.
I rolled by there one time.
Hey, man,
I didn't go in there. No, not trapeze.
You said I rolled by.
I rolled by.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Everybody know about trapeze. That's like Magic City, man, on a Monday.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Rilla got a membership.
Nah. I think so. I look at this two different ways because, to be honest, I'll say, you know, for me personally, it's just hard enough entertaining one, let alone trying to entertain two. But I think, like to me, with the older generation, or people that are of a certain age, you know, and then we in this like monogamous Western culture, you know, I don't think most women go for the idea of being a number two, right? But when you look at this younger generation, and again, we talk about side chick anthems and this, you know, this quote unquote thought culture or whatever. I think a lot more people that are like under the age of 30 definitely entertain and are open to the possibility of being a number two. I think to Amira's point, as long as they're taken care of, don't bring me no diseases, don't go, you know, don't get nobody else pregnant or whatever. I think they're absolutely open to the possibility of being number two.
So JR, how come you didn't ask Chicago to answer yes or no? He ain't answer that question.
Can I ask Chicago a question?
I'm feeling really discriminated against, JR.
Can I please ask Chicago a question?
First
Contact
off,
HR.
not you using that when the lead attorney's on here. I see what you're doing, Kay. Don't use discrimination.
No, ask Anton. I talk about discrimination and all sorts of things all the time. I'm just saying, because JR always cuts me off. Just answer. Chicago ain't answer that question.
Hey, just go ahead and shoot your shot, Kay. Just go on here. Shoot
no, I'm not trying to shoot any shot. Why do I understand that? What? No, I'm saying, why didn't you ask Chicago? I'm just trying to figure it out.
Wait, can we just leave me out of this, man? Like,
no,
for real. I mean, hey, listen, you listen. You're the queen of not answering questions directly. So
no, because
all right, y'all. Come on, y'all. We're gonna get back on task.
Everybody,